Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here. I have to apologize for being late. I am 15 minutes late. I apologize for that. I just got back. And yeah, lots of things to do on the stream actually, FPL wise. I have to make 2 transfers. All right, and also captaincy this week is going to be tricky. So lots to talk about in today's stream. Probably going to go for about an hour to an hour and a half. Let's see how long we can do it. Today is also, there's no early kickoff. So basically, the first games are, I would say, in about 4 hours time. All right, so there's quite a bit of time until the deadline. So let's talk let's talk about FPL. All right, so let me just make sure that you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me clearly, let me know. Just gotta get everything set up before we... Yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. All right, so we'll start off with... All right, there's already 27 of you guys in the chat, so thank you for coming early. Please drop a like on the stream if you haven't done so. Get it out nice and early. Let me also say hi to some of you guys in the chat before we get started. VJ, Grain Bread Pastry, always some of the earliest people. Henry as well, nice to see you. Fignesh, nice to see you. Jan, Sedil, One for All, Satyaki, lots of familiar names. Global, nice to see you. Good day from Melbourne, Australia. Victor, nice to see you as well. Yes, captaincy is what we're going to talk about today as well. Remedian, nice to see you. Thank you for liking before the stream even started. Davies family, Dawn, Celium, Davies, Pikachu, all good. Thank you all of you guys for coming early and thank you for checking in. I hope you guys are good as well. I have been fantastic. I have done some changes to the channel as you guys can see. So I kind of used the old setting. I've been waiting for a while to kind of have some time to go back to our old setting. So those of you who have been sticking around with the channel for the longest time already, you will know that our deadline streams usually look like this. All right, so I'm happy that we're finally back with this kind of a setup. And yeah, all right, hopefully you guys enjoy this bit of a graphic as well. There's 2 things that I need to do today that I haven't decided on. More or less I have, but obviously I want to confirm it on the stream. The first thing is my transfers. I have 2 free transfers and I'm obviously not going to be set with 2 West Ham players playing against Newcastle by the time the game week 10 deadline comes. So I'm definitely going to sell these 2 these 2 West Ham players, Diouf and Bowen. And I've kind of decided already, but I also want to hear what some of you guys think. I've kind of decided on doing Diouf to Munoz and Bowen to Thiago. So this would mean that I don't go for Mateta until game week 12 when they play Wolves. And I've already taken 2 price rises on the chin for Mateta already. So pretty much I've kind of decided that I would do that. I think the only decision that remains is really Welbeck or Thiago. So I'm keen to also know what you guys think. And the second thing, of course, then is captaincy. We need to talk about captaincy because some people are thinking about Gabriel, Saka, Haaland. So let's just start off. Let's just start off with a poll, a captaincy poll, nice and early. Who is your game week 10 captain? So let's go Haaland versus Bournemouth. There's also Saka versus Burnley. Okay, let's just put the fixtures home and away as well. So home is for Haaland, Burnley away for Saka. Gabriel is in there with a shout as well. It's mainly the clean sheets, I feel, but I honestly don't think the ceiling is super high for him because you're kind of banking on the fact that he gets an attacking return, which is not impossible, but it's not super likely, right? I know Gabriel is great in the air. Okay, let's get the poll out nice and early. Let me know what you guys think in terms of captaincy. For now, I still have it on Haaland at least. But for me, it's between. I don't think I'm going Gabriel anymore. I'm thinking Saka or Haaland. So it's one of the two. One of the two. All right, let me get to some of your questions. There's 70 of you guys in the chat already. Thank you for coming nice and early. It is nice to see all of you. Before we get started, I always like to kind of see where you guys are watching from. So before we get started with all the questions, can you guys do me a favor and spam in the chat where you guys are watching from? I just love to know. Like, I know we have some viewers from Australia, some from the UK, obviously, some from New Zealand, Canada. Yeah, I mean, let me know where you guys are watching from. Very, very nice. I love that. Is there an FPL community on WhatsApp? Not a fan of Telegram. Unfortunately, I've set the community up on Telegram. But yeah, I do get that it may not be for everyone. So if you're not, then I guess you could follow the socials. But I just think the features on Telegram is a little bit better. Thank you all for letting me know where you guys are watching from. England, says Uchiha Dan. Nepal, really, really cool. Indonesia, Henry. VJ's from Egypt, very nice. Trovelin, South Africa. Bryce, South Africa. Stefan, Iceland. Iceland, that is nice. I do want to go to Iceland someday. I do want to go there. Should I start Krupi Jr. or Reinders? I think Reinders. I think Krupi Jr. will still start this week, even though Evan Nielsen is back. But yeah, obviously you wouldn't fancy him against City, would you? Maybe you would. Right? I still think City will leak chances. Watching from Ireland, very nice. Celium. Jimmy says Brisbane, Nepal, UK, Cape Town, Africa. November rain in Mumbai, KL, land of the chicken rice. All right. I love that. All right, thank you all of you guys for letting me know. Okay, so let's get started with all the FPL stuff. So, any questions that you have, any dilemmas, drop it in the chat. And I'll get to all of it. Today, the aim is to answer all the questions, and also make my transfers. If I can make my transfers, obviously, I just want to know, or at least have a bit more of a think on Thiago versus Welbeck. But pretty much Diouf to Munoz is locked in for me. And yeah, also decide on captaincy. Let's get to your questions. All right. Okay, would you start Matthew says Pongo. Would you start Van Heck or Mukele? I think I start Van Heck this week. I do fancy him against Leeds, to be honest. Is this free hit okay? Pope, Gabriel, Timber, Gehi, Saka, Sa, Enzo, Mbumo, Voltamana, Haaland, and Mateta. Your front three on the free hit is perfect. That's the front three I would go with. Pope, Gabriel, Timber, Gehi. I think if you want to go for a Crystal Palace defender and you're on a free hit, I think it's worth going for Munoz. Saka, Sa, Enzo, and Mbumo I have no issues with. That's a great midfield. Dr. K34 says, my team is Raya, Dubravka, Senesi, Gordon, Munoz, Calafiori, Van de Ven, Bruno, Kudus, and Jai Semenyo, Stack, Mateta, Haaland, Voltamata. Any changes, any recommendations? 1.1 in the bank. Looking at your team, I think more of your changes could come in the defense, I'd say. Right, you have Senesi playing City. Munoz is fine. Calafiori, I think Calafiori is a bit of a doubt if I'm not wrong. Van de Ven, I guess is fine, but he's playing Chelsea this week. I think you could do with a Crystal Palace defender, right? And on Crystal Palace defenders, Richards is now declared fit by Glasner, so that's interesting. I mean, if you guys want to move for Crystal Palace defenders, I do think Richards is should be in the conversation as well. Anderson from Fulham is also fit now that, or I guess I should say in contention, because that's what Marco Silva said. Bench Chalobah or King, says Andre. I think I would start King. Right, King plays Wolves. I think I'd start King and I would bench Chalobah. Captain Mateta over Haaland. I wouldn't. I actually think the Brentford defense is not too bad. I honestly think the Brentford defense is quite good. I mean, that's also one of the reasons why I'm banking against, or I'm betting against Mateta. Not that I think Mateta is a bad transfer. Mateta is a great transfer, and he was the most obvious move for me this week to go Bowen to Mateta. I could have done that on Sunday. I could have done that on Thursday after the Crystal Palace versus Liverpool game. I could have done multiple times this week, but I've resisted the temptation every single time because I prioritize having Munoz as my Diouf replacement over, having Mateta in place of Bowen here. And just to caveat as well, it's not that I'm never going to go for Mateta. I will have Mateta come game week 12. It'll be Voltemada to Mateta. That will be the move in game week 12. Which two to start? Anderson, Richards, Guiu, Senesi, or Reinders? Anderson, Richards. I would start Anderson and Richards. Celium says, for the wildcard draft, would you recommend doing Raya for Pope and then Theo for Timber so that I can put Xhaka on the bench? I would still stick with Pope and Timber, to be honest. I think I would still go for that combination. I think soon, I mean, I am hoping, but I think the attacking threat of Timber will soon start to show because the fixtures are getting better and better for Arsenal. So I actually think that Timber will start to get some attacking returns there. His numbers are still consistently good, so I do like that. Anderson or Alderete? Alderete is also back in training, by the way, says the Sunderland manager. I would say that between Anderson, Alderete, probably Anderson. Real R4 says Vicario, Timber, Senesi, Gehi, Rogers, King, and Jais. Okay. So I guess that's your team. Bench King or Bowen, or take a -4 to get Mateta in for Bowen. To be honest, I do think that keeping Bowen is an option. I did also consider that because come game week 11, Bowen will have Burnley, but it's just a question of if you're doing it free. I think it's very straightforward, right, to sell Bowen for Mateta. But if you're taking a hit, then I think there's more of a decision to be made, and I think it's less straightforward, right? Would I take a -4 to get Mateta in for Bowen? It's close. I'd say it's a 50-50, that one. Who would I replace for Evan Nielsen with 0.6 million budget left? You keep Evan Nielsen. I think Evan Nielsen is back in training already, so I don't think he'll start this weekend, though he could, but I don't think he will. And I think he'll start to build up. They will start to build up his minutes. So soon he will be back available as someone you can start. And come game week 12 onwards, Bournemouth's fixtures are really good. So if I were you, I just hold on to Evan Nielsen for now. Start someone on your bench, maybe a 5.0 million midfielder that you have. Bench one of Semenyo, Enzo, or Minte. This is the tricky question this week. Some of you guys have 3 of these players, and I've seen in these situations people bench Semenyo. I still wouldn't. I think City will lead goals, So Semenyo definitely gonna start for me. It's between Enzo or Minte. Minte has a great fixture, right? Leeds. It's between Enzo and Minte for me. I would probably. I mean, benching Minte sounds crazy this week. Who else? Who else do you have in the team? A football guy. Let me know. I'm slow on the chat. I have to apologize. Let me just speed through. Dawn says have 2 free transfers, 0.6 million in the bank. Bruno to Saka, Gyökeres, Voltemada. I don't think this is the week to make the Gyökeres to Saka change. That's what I would say. So I wouldn't make those moves. I think if you have Gyökeres, you just hold on to Gyökeres this week. Give him one more week. I think Van Hag as well as Everton will get something out of Sunderland. Can we aim for 100 likes? For those of you who haven't liked, please do drop a like. Thank you very much for that, VJ. Half Frizz says Enzo or Caicedo or both. I would prefer Enzo. Even though this week I think defensive contributions for Caicedo is I'm pretty sure we'll get it. But I also think I have a good feeling about Chelsea versus Tottenham this week. I have a good feeling we'll score some good goals. Enzo Fernandez probably the one that will be involved. I mean, it's usually a high scoring game, like Chelsea versus Tottenham. I just see goals in that game. Are Richards and Bowen good enough to play over Minte and Voltemada if it means saving 2 free transfers? I would say marginally yes. Marginally yes. But the thing is, because come game week, after game week 15, we will get 5 free transfers. And I think people are also reaching a stage where they've saved up. I've seen a couple of teams. They've saved up about 4 free transfers already, and your team actually still looks very good. In which case, it's a good thing because you have great planning. But this season, because we're going to get 5 free transfers after game week 15, it pays to be a little bit more aggressive during this period of time. So now is game week 10 leading up to AFCON. There's the international break between game week 11 and game week 12. I think this is the period to be aggressive. So if saving these 2 transfers is not extremely necessary, I think you could just make those transfers because you will get 5 after game week 15. So think about that. Thor on a wild card, mostly 4 at the back with Gabriel Munoz, Senesi, Timber. Then I don't think you just have a 4.0 million as your 5th defender, Shai Peak. Wakasa says, downgrade Poro to Mukele this week to get Reinders to San next week. I think you could delay those 2 moves to next week, and if you have to, you can start Poro this week. I don't absolutely hate it. Would you recommend Achimpong for 3.9 for the 5th defender spot? I would prefer Axel Tuanzebe from Burnley because Scott Parker has been very, very speaking very glowingly of Axel. So I would have to say that's where I would go for 3.9. Thank you very much for the donation, VJ. I appreciate that. You're a legend. Let me just check that the alerts are working as well because we just changed the setup. So yeah, all right. It should be working. All right. Saliba training photos. Come on, we know Arteta. You're not gonna hope for training photos from Arteta. It's not happening. It's not happening. I don't even need to check, and I know it's not gonna be there, even though I have checked already. Burn or Gehi, I need help. Can't make up my mind. If you don't already have Nick Pope, I prefer Burn over Gehi because Newcastle are the 2nd best defense in the league in terms of expected goals conceded. So I would say Burn over Gehi. But if you're doubled up on Newcastle, then I don't think it's necessary. Then I would go for Gehi. Captain Sa, I think that's a bit dangerous. Play Semenyo or Krupi Jr., definitely Semenyo. Start Calvert-Lewin or Reinders. I think this week it'd be Calvert-Lewin, to be honest. Why not downgrade Caicedo to Xhaka and have both Mateta and Munoz? It's not something I can do this week. Downgrading Caicedo to Xhaka will not allow me to have enough funds because then it's 3 transfers and I have to make a -4. That's one. The second thing is, I'll be stuck with some West Ham players. I mean, I don't want to take a -4 overall. And I think 2 free transfers and then I get Mateta in game week 12 is also fine. It's a question of whether I think someone like Thiago or Welbeck can cover Mateta's score over these 2 game weeks, which we could, I mean, arguably it will be close, I think. I think it's closer than what people say, basically. I'm kind of going with my gut here, this one. No worries at all, Tinka. Kaneki Ken, member, nice to see you, says, help me, Enzo or Bowen. Start Enzo or Bowen, I would start Enzo. Thinking of doing Reinders to Minte and bench Paqueta or Bowen, exact money should I? Reinders to Minte, yes, I think I would make that move. Can't decide between starting Minte or Enzo. Yeah, this is close. This is similar to the question just now. Between Minte, Enzo, and Semenyo. So Semenyo definitely will start. Between Minte and Enzo though, I have to say it's really close because Minte has the fixture. Enzo has penalties and plays for the slightly better attack because I also do rate the Brighton attack, to be honest. This one is a coin toss, I have to say. I would lean slightly towards the better fixture, I would say. I mean, Minte has been playing really well. Or something about Enzo as well, and also Caicedo and João Pedro, is that they've all been nursing some form of an injury, which could maybe explain why there's a slight drop-off in the Chelsea performance. So just something to note. Not that I think it massively puts me off those Chelsea assets. Rodon, Diouf, or Senesi? If it's picking one to start, I think it'd be between Rodon or Senesi. Potentially Rodon. VJ says only 26 likes. Okay, let me just have a look. There's 131 of you guys. Please do help me out if you haven't already and drop a like on the stream so that we can reach more people on the stream. That would be lovely. That would be lovely. Oh, there's 36 likes now. All right, thank you all for dropping a like on the stream. I appreciate it. Luca says, sell Reinders for Minte. Already use 1 free transfer to bring in Mateta for João Pedro. Have 2 frees and only 0.6 in the bank. Should I roll the 2 free transfers? If Sa is a better option, should I sell Donnarumma and get Pope? Ooh. I wouldn't do Donnarumma to Pope just to free up funds. So you can keep Donnarumma. But Reinders to Minte. Okay, I think it's a question of longer term. Do you see yourself having 2 Crystal Palace attackers? If that is what you like, depends on your style, right? If you are okay having 2 Crystal Palace attackers and potentially 1 defender as well, then sure, I think going for Sa is the option. But there's also like certain FPL managers that prefer to have just 1 attacker from the team, like Mateta is good enough, and maybe like a Munoz in defense, and then you can have a Minte in midfield to differentiate a little bit. So I think it depends, right? Again, on your team structure and also what it will enable you to do moving forward. Does it block some transfers, etc.? Mandeep says, is it worth to take a hit to replace Pedro and Reinders with Mateta and Sa? Cheers, mate. I would say yes. If it's for free, especially, I would say yes. Caicedo or Xhaka, who to start? I would start Caicedo. Got Bowen last week, thinking of getting Mateta instead of him. Should I wait until after the Burnley home game? Well, I mean, it seems a little bit premature, right? If you've just brought him in to only give him 1 game. But then again, West Ham also aren't looking really good. But I say since you just brought him in, holding him is also fine. Like I don't think he's a must sell this week to get Mateta. Like as much as everyone has been getting Mateta, I seem to think that it's not exactly an absolute must to go for him. I think there's different windows that you can choose to go for Mateta. I'm choosing the game week 12 window at least. And even this fixture against Brentford, by the way, I wouldn't say it's like super easy. Playing Brentford is not an easy fixture. Playing Brighton is also not an easy fixture. Granted that both are at home though. Jeremy says Reinders to Trossard or Bruno Guimaraes or Gyökeres to Voltemade. I prefer the Reinders move because I would keep Gyökeres for this week against Burnley. If it's between Trossard or Bruno Guimaraes, can you stretch to an Eze though? Seems like you have the third Arsenal spot free. Can you stretch to an Eze? Uchiha Dan says, I have Diouf, Paqueta, Bowen, but can sub in Gehi and Richards with 2 free transfers. Should I keep West Ham to bench boost in 11? Or just use the free transfers to get Voltemade and Minte? Okay, I'll be honest here. I think keeping West Ham to bench boost in game week 11, I'm not even confident that they'll do very well against Burnley. I know the Burnley game is there for them in game week 11, but with the way that they're playing, I'm not super confident that they do very well against them. In which case, I would just be tempted to make the transfer. I mean, I myself am going to make the transfer. And that reminds me, I need to start making the transfer soon. Can't afford Mbeumo, so keep faith in Foden. Yes, I think if you have Foden already, especially with the fixtures that they'll have very, very soon. Let me just check. As early as... Oh, you can't. Oh, you can see here. All right. So as early as say game week 13 onwards, that's when everyone will jump on Man City already. Granted that you will have some tough games. I mean, it's 10, 11, 12. They are all tough. I don't see him as a must sell, but if it's Foden to Mbeumo, I think I would make the move. Foden to Mbeumo, I would make that move. Oh, but you can't. My bad. But you can't afford Mbeumo. Yeah, then I guess you keep the faith in Foden. My bad. Which team is likely to keep a clean sheet? Fulham or Newcastle this week? I think I fancy Newcastle to keep a clean sheet more than I do Fulham this week. Thank you very much for liking, Marcus. I appreciate that. Okay, please don't spam in the chat. I appreciate the moderating, VJ. Appreciate that. I'll just put you in timeout for a quick minute. All right. Yeah, all right. I think I'm starting to confuse some people because I'm not making my transfers. I've seen Kelvin just said, why are you starting Diouf when you have Voltemade? Let me make my transfers. And I'll get back to the chat where I left off. So, transfers. Let's go with what I've been going on all week in my transfer plans video as well, but I'm happy to finally make the move now. Now, I chose to make the move on the stream because I wanted to have a little bit more time to think about it, and none of these players that I was going to go for were rising in price or falling in price. So either ways, I wouldn't be, gaining or losing any cash. So I was okay with that. I really like Thiago's numbers, by the way. Like the XGI numbers have been seriously strong, especially for the past 4 games. And those are against tough opposition, by the way. Against Manchester United, he picked up 0.7. Right? Against Man City, 0.67. West Ham, I mean, this one is granted, right? 0.86. And then Liverpool, 1.11. I mean, these are against tough opposition. So I rate the Brentford attack And that's also why I'm choosing to go for him. Also, I should elaborate a little bit on this Thiago move as well. So before I make the transfers, let me just move over to the transfer tinkering tool. By the way, a lot of comments that I've received recently is, what is this website? Let me just I think I should pin in the chat. Right. So this website is like not sponsored at all or anything, but I just think it's a great website for you to plan your transfers, and it's completely free. If you want to remove the ads, you can have the premium. You can pay for the premium version that just doesn't have the ads. But if not, as it is, I think it's great. So for those of you who don't know already, I'm gonna spam it in the chat for a bit. It's fpl.team, and I genuinely think that this is a really, really good website for transfer planning. All right, so if you haven't checked it out, do check it out. This is not sponsored or anything. It's just I just think it's a great tool. All right, so let me just start off with the two transfers and why I think I want to do that. So going Munoz here and then Bowen to Thiago. My plan is actually not to play Thiago every single week, right? So first things first, when I set the 11, it's going to be Caicedo on the bench. I'll also definitely start Munoz. So this would be how the starting 11 looks, right, for game week 10. And then come to game week 11 now. This is when I plan to bench boost. So this is a week that looks something like this, right? Great fixtures for majority of the players in the starting 11 already. On the bench, it's also pretty good. I would say the only downside is that I'm playing Thiago against Newcastle, but then again, it is at the GTEC Stadium. So I fancy this one again. And then come to game week 12. This is when I can make a decision, right? Game week 12, the plan is actually to do Voltemada to... Okay, context also is that I would have used the bench boost by game week 11 already, so I don't have to have such a strong bench. I can downgrade Caicedo. Even though he plays Burnley here, I can still downgrade him because you look at the fixtures elsewhere, it's still pretty good. So Voltemada to Mateta here in game week 12 is the plan. And the way to fund this, because now I'm 0.1 short, is either by the time game week 12 comes around, hopefully Voltemada has done well enough to get 2 price rises. If not, then the plan is just to drop Caicedo down to King, right, from Fulham. This is a week that he will have Sunderland as well. So then the decision comes between whether I want to start Thiago or King. Either ways, that's fine. And I also have Semenyo here on the bench who has West Ham. So I do have great bench options. I think this is a week that I probably won't even start Thiago, right? So benching him for this game. Come to game week 13, this is when he has Burnley, and this is a week that Crystal Palace have Manchester United, and also Arsenal have Chelsea. So if I so wish to I don't think I'll bench my Arsenal defenders, so if I choose to drop maybe Munoz or even Sa down to the bench, then it could be Thiago who comes in here. All right, so the rotation works pretty well. I think more likely is Munoz that I would do, right? So still a kind of a 3-4-3. But by game week 13 as well, this is when I want Cody Gakpo. So Enzo out to Gakpo is also the plan for this week. So in short, right, and you see I have 0.3 extra. So in short, by game week 13, I've kind of worked out already that going for Thiago now, all the way back now in game week 10, is not going to hinder my transfers too much. The plan was always to reach somewhat of this structure by the time this period comes around. So game week 13, I moved to game week 14 now. The fixtures are pretty good. This is when you see Thiago, Arsenal. I can just start Munoz, who has Burnley. The rotation is pretty good. So I've had a look at most of the rotations between Thiago and Munoz already, and also my 8th attacker. So I don't mind it. And overall, by the time game week 15 comes around, I'm just 1 game week away from having 5 free transfers. By then, I would still have 2 transfers to potentially make changes to the team. And then come game week 16, I'll have topped up to 5 transfers already. So I can deal with any issues that come up. So that's why when I go back to game week 10 now, I may as well just go back to the stream layout. That's why back now to game week 10, with that context, I don't mind just going for Thiago now and taking a chance, right? I'm taking a chance against Mateta. And I do like that, going a bit different. I do also acknowledge that it could be could go completely wrong. Mateta could absolutely pop off this week and make me look extremely stupid, but I think it's worth a shot. I think it's worth a shot. And it's not no to Mateta forever. Mateta will come in game week 12. All right, so let me just lock in the transfers and then I'll get back to your questions. Let me just check on the chat. Yeah, all right, okay. So I haven't missed out anything. If you have any thoughts, drop it in the chat, right? I'd be keen to know what you guys think of the plan. So transfers-wise, again, Munoz in for Diouf, and then Thiago in for Bowen. So let me just lock in these two transfers. This is Diouf out, Munoz in, Bowen out, Thiago in. Let me just confirm. This is exciting stuff. All right, so I've locked in the transfers. There's no going back now. So this week, just for those of you who just joined, there's 162 of you guys. Thank you for joining. If you haven't already, please do drop a like on the stream. VJ and FPL Diamond have been helping me to plug away, so I really appreciate that. But if you haven't, please do drop a like on the stream and also subscribe as well. That really helps the channel. Team for game week 10 is gonna look like this. So Pope in goal, Timber, Munoz, and Gabriel. Midfield, it's Enzo, Saka, Semenyo, Sa. And then up front, it's Thiago, Haaland, and Voltemada. We'll talk about captaincy. For now, it's Haaland captain and Saka vice. And then the bench is likely going to be like this. I'm just thinking about whether I want to have Rodon or Senesi as last bench. For now, I have Senesi there. And yeah, I think likely this is what's going to be the team. So captaincy, let's expand on it as we go along. Let me get back to some of your questions first. Captain Voltemada. The thing with Voltemada that I've realized also is that he seems to be quite satisfied. I mean, this is just my own observation. Don't take it with a pinch of salt. But he seems to be quite satisfied with 1 goal per game. Like, if you realize he's not the type of player to be, even though I do hope so, especially in this West Ham game, but he's not the type of player to be hunting for a second goal or hungry for a second goal. I say this now hoping that he proves me wrong. I hope that he proves me wrong and he goes on to score a hat-trick this week. Okay. Let me just get back to all of your questions. I went on a ramble of about 10 to 15 minute ramble. Will Enzo start as the 10? He doesn't shine much at deep in midfield. Okay, so a couple of things I would say about this comment is that this game, because Liam Delap is suspended, he got a red card in the EFL Cup. João Pedro is likely going to be striker again, our favourite João Pedro. And then I think because João Pedro is not playing the 10, then that would be Enzo Fernandez. So we will get Enzo Fernandez in the 10 against Spurs. So that's one. Another thing is, even though there will be games moving forward, once Liam Delap comes back, and also when Cole Palmer comes back, by which time I probably won't have Enzo already, I still think that even from deep, you saw in the earlier parts of the season that doesn't stop Enzo from getting returns, because he reminds me a little bit of Gundogan, even though I'm fairly sure that Gundogan played more attacking. His average position was higher. I accept that. But Enzo Fernandez, even though he plays deep, he just arrives in the box at the right time. And he just pops off with those kind of goals. So I do think that even from deep, I do fancy Enzo Fernandez. So at least for, I think, the foreseeable future, maybe all the way up till about game week 13 and game week 14, until I sell him for Gakpo, I'm still happy enough to have him. Maybe he's not the kind of player that you would go out to buy now, which I completely understand as well. But just in terms of like my thoughts on Enzo is I think he'll be fine as an option. Ian says, so I'm pretty sure João Pedro has to go for Mateta. I tend to agree with that. But I'm deciding on Gyökeres. Should I stick with him or replace him with Thiago, Woltemade, and triple up on Arsenal defense and bring in Timber? So I'm not fully on board with the triple Arsenal defense just yet. Even though I know it is great, right? Like, Arsenal defense is great. I just think about points wise, whether someone like a Saka over. So in my spot, let's say it's Timber, Gabriel, and Saka. Whether someone like Saka over a 10-game week period, because I'm sure once you have that third Arsenal asset, you'll be starting them every single week. Saka versus Raya over 10-game weeks, who scores more points? I still think it's someone like Saka, or even Eze for that matter. I still think that the attacker will have a chance of outscoring that, keeper spot. So I would say I'm not fully on board the triple Arsenal defense just yet. So I think you don't have to go there, is my advice. But I wouldn't put you off it if you are super keen on that. So Kevin says, why am I starting Diouf when I have Woltemade? So I'm not. Oh, that also reminds me, I do note as well that I'm playing Thiago against Munoz, but we all know how attacking Munoz is. Almost 50% of the reason why I buy Munoz is not for the clean sheets and not for the def cons, but for the attacking threat. I chose to prioritize Munoz over Mateta this week because Crystal Palace attack is seriously good, and Munoz is also very, very advanced. So I really do think like he will get more and more involved in those attacking returns, and we've already seen it this season. Right, a couple of times, 2 assists in this game against Bournemouth, 1 goal here against Everton, 1 assist here against Forest. He also does get DEFCON, by the way. It's not as if he doesn't. He's gotten DEFCON here against Bournemouth. Everton also DEFCON, 1 away from DEFCON in against Liverpool here, and also against Aston Villa he did. So I would say that his DEFCON numbers are pretty good. Right, the average I saw on XG stat is about 8.3 per 90, which I am perfectly okay with because that is quite close to 10. And we've seen games where he's going to get more. And also then you couple with the attacking threat. I think he's great. Zezarai says, I'm late. How's the vibe? The vibe is great. We've started on a high today on the stream. For those of you who just joined, please do drop a like on the stream. Please do drop a like. Okay, I'm super far behind in the chat. I have to skip forward, but if I've skipped through your question, just do me a favor and drop it in the chat again. Thank you very much. Would you keep Gyökeres in this week? I would still keep Gyökeres this week, yes. Desiree says, looks good. However, if Mateta gets 1 goal, you could be cooked. Well, I could also say that if Munoz gets an attacking return, then that kind of evens out, right? And Thiago could score as well. There's equal opportunities of that happening, even though slightly in favor of Mateta. I get that. Thank you very much for gifting a FPL Consult membership, PJ. You are a legend. And congratulations to Laylax who got the membership. I appreciate that. Thank you all for being so interactive on today's stream. I love it. It's been a while as well since we've had this many of you guys on stream. So if you guys are appreciating the stream, I genuinely appreciate your presence here as well. And yeah, it's just super fun to just chat with you guys before the deadline. Melvin says, good evening. Should I start Kudus or Caicedo? I would say I would say Caicedo. I'm not going to sit on the fence here. I'm going to say Caicedo. What's the best striker? 6 million and under? The options are thin. 6 million and under, the options are thin. Krupi Jr., but Evan Nielsen is back fit already. So do think about it. Mukele or Anderson? Consult Anderson, because Anderson is in contention, is what Marco Silva said. So I would start Anderson. Yep, Kaneki Ken, I agree with that. Best striker under 6 mil is Krupi. Thank you for subscribing, Mitchell. I appreciate that. Silim says, love your channel. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. We've also just hit, I got a notification. We just hit 12,200 subscribers. So thank you all so much for helping us to hit that milestone. Is Neto good? I would say that because there's so many options for Chelsea that I wouldn't go for Neto. But then again, that's why I'm going to miss out on some of his hauls. Like, I've just accepted the fact that someone like Neto is a player that I would never go for, but he always have the potential of getting, 1 or 2 double-digit hauls now and then. Will Krupi get minutes when Evan Nielsen is back, though? I don't think so. That's the thing. I think there will potentially be some form of minutes share at the start. And obviously, if Krupi continues to look really good, then maybe his share of the minutes will be, increasingly greater. But it's not as if they can just right off the bat bench Evan Nielsen all the way. Like, Evan Nielsen is and was their first choice number 9. Sujan says, your favorite football team? I am a Chelsea fan. Prashant says, can you look into my team? Sure, you can drop the screen. Oh, by the way, I haven't spoken about it, but if you guys haven't already, under me right here is the QR code to the FPL Consult Telegram community chat. It's completely free to join. It's where most of us kind of congregate and interact, especially on the weekdays when, price changes are happening and you want to know what to do, what some people think, and get some advice as well. And also you can reach me there on the chat. So if you guys haven't already, there's about, 1,500 people already in the chat. Just scan the QR code or use the first link and yeah, join in the fun. But you can drop your screenshot there as how many people do, and whenever I can, I'll just have a look as well and get back to you. Edwin says, with Delap back on striker, Pedro may play central attacking midfielder. This central attacking midfielder might be good for him. So the thing with Delap this week is that he's suspended. So he wouldn't play this week. So maybe next week is whatever you said would happen. Start Enzo or Semenyo. I would start Semenyo for sure. Play Keane or Mukele? He has to be Keane. Would you do João Pedro, Kudus, and Raya to Mateta, Sa, and Pope? Seems like you're using the funds from Raya to go Mateta and Sa. I don't mind it because it also allows you to then go Timber as well. I think I would say yes, to be honest. Yeah, I would say yes. Mukile or Richards? I would say Richards this week. Lilac says thank you, VJ. That is incredible. Awesome stuff. Oh, VJ is incredible today. He says another membership if we can get Leon to 125 likes. He's on a roll today. Get him and get me the 125 likes, and you guys will get an extra membership as well. I kind of gave out 10 memberships the other day. And I realized that I don't have any more to give out this month, so I have to wait until next month. Like, I know now we are in 1st November, but I don't have any more memberships to give away. So I will again continue to give out memberships, but wait. It seems like I have 5. Okay. My bad. I have 5 memberships to give out this month. So okay, let's do this. If we get 125 likes on the stream, VJ is gonna give 1 extra membership, and I'm gonna give 5 extra memberships. Come on, guys. Let's get to 125 likes. I don't even know how many we're on right now, but yeah. Let me not get carried away. That's why you need both Mateta and Munoz. Yes, I will have both Mateta and Munoz. When the time comes, I will have both of them, especially from Game Week 12. Something about Crystal Palace as well is that there will be this very tight fixture crunch from about Game Week 15 to Game Week 18, where the fixtures are very, very bunched up, especially because of Conference League and the EFL Cup. So with that being said, you have to bear in mind, I think there will definitely be some form of rotation there. And also there's a small little chance, right? Ben Crellin said there's a small little chance, even though he does not think it's by no means confirmed, but there's a small little chance of blanks and doubles for that period. So yeah, just bear that in mind. I'm keeping João Pedro to the Wolves game and then we'll transfer him to Mateta Voltamata. What do you think? I think I would just move now. I wouldn't hold him for so long. Oh, you guys are legends. You guys are legends. Am I doing team ratings? So usually I do, but because today there's so much to discuss, I wouldn't do team ratings today. But you can again drop your screenshot in the Telegram community at the bottom there, and I will be going straight there after the stream to have a look at your screenshots. So yeah. Thank you very much, Shunto. I appreciate that. VJ is spending the big bills. I have a feeling Gyökeres will brace today. You know, it would be absolutely hilarious. I mean, typical FPL if João Pedro, who everyone has mass sold, goes on and hauls against Spurs. I think that would absolutely bring the whole FPL community to flames. I can't imagine the reactions if João Pedro does that. Hylan, would you swap Tarkowski plus Caicedo to Richards and Sa? This will use up all my transfers with 0.1 in the bank after. Richards, I would say Tarkowski is fine for this week, to be honest. So I don't think those are moves you have to make this week. I think you can roll. Alan says he wants the memberships, helping with the likes as well. Don't worry, if we do hit the 120, can get my words out. If we can get the 125 like mark, I'll give you guys ample time to spam in the chat later on, because it seems as if whoever spams the chat more gets a higher chance of membership. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but let's get there first. We're at 97 likes. So still a way to go. João Pedro to Voltamata for a -4. I don't think it's worth a -4. Would you do next game week? Or what would I do next game week? Basically, there'll be a transfer plans video coming out, but next week the plan is to roll and also bench boost, but that is obviously heavily dependent on what we see in today's games and also tomorrow's games. But not to worry, the transfer plans video, I'll cover everything and also review a bit of game week, my post-game week 9 thoughts. So we'll see what happens there. Reiner to Sa, Gyökeres to Welbeck, Anderson to Timber Calafiori. Already have Raya and Gabriel. I don't think I would make those moves because Anderson is great this week and it seems like he'll start. Gyökeres as well, keeping for Burnley is all right. Reinders to Sa, not exactly a move that you have to make as well. So yeah, I mean, my thoughts is actually you don't have to make those two moves or those set of moves. I wouldn't do Bowen to Voltamata for a -4. My team in Ireland, Shamrock Rovers, are in the Conference League, but the league is now over. So basically, they're playing for another 3 months because of Conference League. So we need to play. Man, that's insane. Henry, it's random, but comment numbers come into it. Yeah, exactly. Alan says, afraid João Pedro will haul. Struggling now between Rodon and João Pedro. If it's between starting Rodon and João Pedro, I mean, it has to be João Pedro, right? If you still have him. Yeah, I mean, that kind of a turnaround sounds absolutely crazy. Selim, it sounds crazy. Start 2, Anderson from Fulham, Richards or Njai. I would start Anderson and Richards. Njai against Sunderland as well. I think I would start Anderson and Njai, and then probably Richards first bench. Lots of you guys want the memberships. We're getting there. Let's hope we get there. We'll go on streaming for, I think, another 10 to 15 minutes. So hopefully you can get there before it ends. Saka or Haaland captain? Great. Thank you for reminding me. So the poll, Haaland captaincy is still at 70%. All right. So let me just talk through captaincy a bit while some of you guys are still here. I was initially thinking of Gabriel captain at the start of the week, but I had a further think as well, and I think the ceiling for Gabriel, yes, he can go on and get an attacking return, but that is not something that is very, very that is not something that happens very regularly, right? So even though Arsenal are super good at set pieces, you are still banking on the fact that Gabriel scores from like a corner or a free kick. So that's one, and you need him to do that, and then you will get your double-digit haul. Now the difference is, so I would say something like his floor is about 6 to 7 points, and then his ceiling is, if he gets the attacking return, then great. I mean, you're looking at a haul there. For Saka-wise, you're looking... I just think that the potential for Saka and Haaland to get more points than Gabriel is higher, because my prediction for Gabriel this week is actually 6 to 7 points, and Saka potentially, if he gets 2 attacking returns, let's say, that's close to about 10 to 12 points. If it's... I mean, I'm counting one of it as an assist, of course. And then for Haaland, you would need potentially a goal for him to match Gabriel. And then if he gets more, then that would be a haul. So I'm comparing all these kind of variations, and I still think I would favor going for the attacker. And that's why currently now it's on Haaland, and then it's on Saka for vice. I'm only putting it on Haaland still over Saka because at home, and even against Bournemouth, given how well they've played this season, I still think they do have instances where they do leak goals, and I also think Haaland right now is still in very, very good form, even though he blanked against Aston Villa last week. He did put the ball at the back of the net, by the way, last week. So, but it was Omar Mamouche was ruled out for offside in the lead up to that. So either ways, I think I'm still going to lean towards an attacker. It's between Haaland and Saka, and for now I still have it on Haaland. Okay. Toby says, never had Munoz in my entire FPL life. Start João Pedro or Xhaka. Xhaka has minimum 4 points because he always gets DEFCON. I mean, for what it's worth, I also think that Xhaka is going to get the DEFCON points this week against Everton. It's just about the ceiling then. Like, do you want to give yourself the chance of getting... But to be fair, João Pedro also doesn't look very, very... he's not firing right now. But when you ask about the two, though, I still think I'll go João Pedro, as poorly as he's been playing. Cue the João Pedro haul and the whole FPL community going up in shambles. Xhaka to BA or Ba? I gotta know who's that. See them. Let me know who's that. Should I try Lemons to save a bit of money and a punt? Nah, no way. Manchester United keeper. No way. If anything, Manchester United attacker, not Manchester United defensive asset. Saka or Gabriel or Haaland, good captain. I've kind of decided it's either Saka or Haaland, and I think just effective ownership wise, I still think it would be on Haaland, right? So For me, it's still probably going to be Haaland. Captain Timber last week and it worked out. I think got 6 points, right? Yeah, and I'm in Haaland blank, so yeah, it did work out. Who to bench between Reinders and Thiago? Reinders. Kudus out and Bumo in, yes, if you can afford. Thoughts on Bumo captain? I think he'll do great, but I don't think it's captaincy material. I love Munoz as a pick. He has everything. I have to agree with you. there. Gakpo to Mbumo, knowing that it blocks my shift from Gyökeres to Saka next week. Who do you think will score more before AFCON? Saka or Mbumo? I gotta say Saka. Saka has pens. Or it seems like he still has pens. Yeah, lots of you guys asking about captaincy as well. Vote in the poll. There's about close to 400 votes so far already, and Haaland's on 69%. Yeah, I mean, look at that. But has a 4.3 million midfielder. Oh. Just a dead spot, I guess. Oscar says, will you do Gyökeres to Thiago, Caicedo to Rice as Eze, and Reinders to Sa, all free transfers? I wouldn't sell Gyökeres this week. Yeah, that's simply put. The other moves are alright if you want to do it this week. Burn to Munoz, what's your thoughts? Not this week. Burn has West Ham. Gakpo or Thiago? Start Gakpo or Thiago? Probably Gakpo, I'd say. I have a dilemma to start two from these three: Mukele, Richards, or Enzo. It'd be Enzo and Richards for me. Should I try Matty Cash with 2 goal contributions already? This is the week that Liverpool plays Aston Villa, so not this week, I would say. Yeah, Liverpool plays Aston Villa this week, so not this week, next week. If you want to go there, which I don't mind, because the Aston Villa fixtures are actually pretty good. Start Reinders or Caicedo, I would start Caicedo. Gyökeres captain, I wouldn't. Gakpo or Thiago, who to start? Gakpo or Thiago? I've answered this one. Have the exact funds to do Enzo to Mbumo, Bowen to Thiago. Ken, you know what? I would just keep Enzo and I do Bowen to Mateta if I were you. Yeah. He's clear of Munoz. Nah, what are you on about? Who's the bench? Anderson, Enzo, Bowen, Tarkowski, or Mukele? I would start Anderson from Fulham. I would start Enzo as well. And then Tarkowski. So you would bench probably Bowen and Mukele then. Benching Bowen sounds crazy, but that's just the nature. I mean, they're playing Newcastle here. $24 likes needed for the membership giveaway. Let's see. We may not be able to hit that, I have to say. But thank you all. It seems as if we have hit 100 likes. We have hit 100 likes. So thank you all so much for that. Right, thank you for that. But yeah, it seems like we probably won't hit the 125 mark. So maybe we'll do it next game week. For those of you who stuck around for the memberships, thank you still. But let's maybe next stream, what we'll do is we'll set the target as 100, and then we'll go from there. We'll give away the memberships once we hit 100 likes. That one seems a little bit more doable. But yeah, thank you all for joining. Let me just answer some last questions. Achimpong or Rodon, I would say none of them. I actually say Tuanzebe is what I would do for the last defender spot right now. Munoz in place of Burn. What's your thoughts? Not this week. Best game week for a free hit. Wait until you get news on the Palace fixtures, whether it's confirmed that they will just leave it as it is. If they don't and there's a blank, then I think it's pretty straightforward when you'll use it. Okay, Semenyo, Gakpo, João Pedro start 2. I would say Semenyo and Gakpo. Bench 1, Reinders, Xhaka, Semenyo. I would bench Reinders probably. Triple Palace feels good. I mean, I like Triple Palace though. I mean, they're playing really well right now. Bench Enzo or Semenyo. I would start Semenyo still. Thoughts on captaining Mbumo? I wouldn't captain Mbumo. I wouldn't go there. Selim says, next stream we'll get 125 likes. I love that. I love that. Ron Chetty says, hello, Andy. I'm not Andy. But I think he's streaming now, so you can go there. We're going to end the stream soon. And yeah, Andy's Let's Talk FPL, I assume. Paqueta to Minte. Yes, I don't mind that move. Xhaka to Minte. Sorry, Xhaka or Minte. Which one do I replace with Reinders? If you can afford Minte, obviously Minte, right? I want Mbumo so much, but we'll wait patiently. Kaneki can, if you have more transfers, you can actually just free up funds, right? Combination moves to upgrade whoever you have to Mbumo. Paqueta to Minte, yes, I think it's alright, Ron. I like Achimpong for Burnley and Wolves, even though they do have the second most conceded expected goals. The thing with Achimpong, I'll end here. The thing with Achimpong is that I don't really know how consistent he'll start, which I think no one knows. So that's the only thing you have to think about. Yeah. All right, let's leave it there. Thank you all for joining me on today's stream. It's been a while since we've had such a turnout, so thank you all for joining. And also, team-wise, what I have on screen right now is probably what it's going to be. My Game Week 10 team. I've already made my transfers. For those of you who just joined, it is Munoz in for Diouf, Thiago in for Bowen. Captaincy will be Haaland, vice captaincy will be Saka. So there we go. Thank you for joining. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for liking as well. It's incredible, right, to see all of you guys every week on stream interacting with me, and I'm extremely grateful, and I really enjoy chatting with you guys. So I'll see you guys next week on the stream again. And also, there will be more content coming out. After the Game Week 9 games, there will obviously be, Game Week 10 games, there will obviously be the transfer plans, etc. And yeah, I'll see you guys in more content coming up. So thank you for joining, and all the best for Game Week 10. Bye-bye.